All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about Gavin Newsom. We've been covering him quite a bit. And look, in many ways, he's been disappointing, right? Now, the good stuff he did was as soon as he unleashed his press account to just, hey, go ham. Go after these Republicans, be vicious, I don't care. If this is the mood, fine, give people what they want. Whoever runs that account is somebody I'd fucking vote for. Whoever runs the Gavin Newsom press account, that motherfucker should be in office right now. I would ride or die for that person, okay? But they're tricking you. It's misleading. That's not who Gavin Newsom is. In fact, Gavin Newsom literally threw his own press account under the bus in an interview with fucking Ben Shapiro, of all people. Ben Shapiro's like, how did you just insinuate on your press account that ICE are terrorists? How dare you? And he goes, yeah, that's a little too extreme. They're not that. No, it's true. They are terrorists. They're the Gestapo. They're the secret police. They are terrorists. They are doing terrorism. They're doing political violence against innocent people. That's what it is. So that was already a red flag, throwing his own press count under the bus because they're more base than him. Okay. But another red flag, he's currently fighting against a billionaire tax in California. Okay, that's 2 strikes, but honestly, to me, that's like 2 strikes, you're out. Like we don't need a third. We don't need a third. That's like, we can do better than you. We can do better than you. If you're blocking a billionaire tax, if you're cucking to Ben Shapiro, more importantly than that, he cucked to sloppy Steve Bannon, one of Epstein's besties. He cucked to Michael Savage. He cucked himself to Charlie Kirk and fawned and bragged about how much his son loved watching Charlie Kirk back when Charlie was with us, right? So he's a chameleon. That's the point. Gavin Newsom is a chameleon. And early on in Trump's second term, he thought, everybody wants us to be more bipartisanship, do more bipartisanship and negotiate more and do diplomacy more. So that's why he reached out to the right and he kept like letting them smack him around on his own show. Literally, like, you go watch it, you make your own decision. But it's very clear he's going soft on them. He has the ability to argue with them and fight with them, as he did with Ron DeSantis when he beat Ron DeSantis in that Fox News debate. But he let these guys walk all over him. So that's what he thought people wanted early on in the Trump regime. Then he realized they don't want that. That's when he unleashed his press account. But he's full of shit. And I say he's full of shit because on policy, he's much more centrist than he appears when he actually fights Trump. And he's trying to have his cake and eat it too and do all things at once. He's trying to do the whole, like, I'm the fighter and I'm going to go after the right and I'm here to take no prisoners. But then the other half the time he does the whole, like, we need to broaden the tent and widen the tent and reach across the aisle and be the more reasonable, moderate ones and work together with the right. You have to pick a lane. You can't do both of those things. They contradict each other. It's not like you have to pick one, right? But the billionaire tax was a big disappointment. Cucking himself to the right-wingers was a big disappointment. But there's always been like real red flags when it comes to Gavin Newsom. To me, the big one was a few years back, they ran out the clock when it came to passing basically a state-level Medicare for All bill. And he let it die. He let it die. He basically blocked state-level Medicare for All by running out the clock and letting a bill die. I reported on it at the time. Crystal reported on it at the time. It was, the talk of the time. What was it, like 3 years ago or something like that? And to me, that's like, okay, who are you really? Who he is a very, corporate, right-leaning Democrat, But he might even be worse than what people realize. Because look at this. This is in an article from Salon. A year ago, Newsom sent about 100 leaders of California-based companies a prepaid cell phone programmed with Newsom's digits and accompanied by notes from the governor himself, Politico reported. One note to the CEO of a big tech corporation said, "If you ever need anything, I'm a phone call away." While pandering to business elite, Newsom has slashed budgets to assist the poor and near poor with healthcare, housing, and food in a state where 7 million live under the official poverty line and child poverty rates are the highest in the nation. The latest Newsom budget, released in January, continues his trajectory away from social compassion. The governor's 2026-2027 spending plan balances the budget by dodging the harsh realities of the Republican megabill, H.R. 1, and maintains state cuts to vital public supports like Medi-Cal enacted as part of the current year budget. The California Budget and Policy Center pointed out Gavin Newsom's reluctance to propose meaningful revenue solutions to help blunt the harm of federal cuts undermines his posture to counter the Trump administration. The statement said that the proposed budget will leave many Californians without food assistance and health care coverage. But stop and think about that. He gave out prepaid cell phones to 100 CEOs and said, like, hey, you ever need help? I'm one call away. That's giving special treatment and favoritism to the business class, to the CEO class. You mix that with blocking the billionaire tax. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? I think we know the answer. He works for the 1%. He works for the corporate donors. And the reason why in today's day and age that's unacceptable is because the Democratic base is finally waking up and getting it that MAGA is wrong when they blame trans people and immigrants for all of our problems. They're dead wrong about that. They're in the same boat as us, those people. But the real cause of your problems, it's the billionaires. It's the billionaires, it's the fascists, and it's the warmongers, okay? And that's what MAGA is. MAGA is a protection racket for the billionaires and the fascists and the warmongers. They are fascists. They are warmongers. And a tiny percentage of them are billionaires, but the entire movement protects the billionaires. Here's Gavin Newsom, the defining characteristic of the era, of our politics. He's saying, no, I'm with the billionaires. I'm going to be a traitor to you and be with the billionaires. Democratic voters don't want that. Go look at the polls. What do Democratic voters say? What is it, 80, 90% of them more that say we need to raise taxes on billionaires? It might be 95%. So, look, I've been more than fair and more than kind when it comes to evaluating Gavin Newsom's record. You know, I'm the guy who came out on this show and said, here are some of the good things he did. He banned book bans during the whole, right-wing hysteria over where they were banning books because there's a trans character in it. He came out and said, no, we're going to ban book bans. I thought that was awesome. I thought his debate with DeSantis was great where he schooled DeSantis. He signed a bill in California for them to make their own insulin. That's awesome. He stopped a whole bunch of maternity wards from closing. He gave doxing victims the right to sue. He banned medical debt from credit reports. All this stuff is good. He did sectoral bargaining for all fast food workers in California. All that stuff is good. But you also got to say the bad stuff. And the bad stuff is, like I said, let the clock run out and effectively blocked universal health care in California. He vetoed a bill to get private equity out of healthcare. He vetoed a bill to crack down on PBMs, which are the pharmacy benefit managers, which are basically the middlemen who jack up the price of your drugs. And then, of course, California has crime problems, homelessness problems, etc. So, look, if it came down to it, and I think most people would say this, if you're left of center, I think almost everybody left of center would say this. 90% plus would say, if it came down to it and he's just who we got and the voters fairly chose against my wishes and went for Newsom, whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to support him, right? But here we are, years before 2028. And the mood of the country, it is a left-wing Tea Party for sure, okay? And I'm here just sounding the alarm saying, we can do better. We can do better. We can do better. We can do better than a candidate who's fucking protecting billionaires and blocking tax increases on them. We can do better than a candidate who's handing out prepaid cell phones to the CEO class and saying, call me if you need anything. We can do better than that. And so I think we will. I think we will. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part, but I think we can do better. He's one of the leaders right now, but then again, so is Kamala. I think we can do better than Kamala. I think we can do better than Gavin Newsom. I think we can actually get a transformative figure who functions as our era's FDR. And I think we should stop at nothing until we get that. So I'm the one who's warning you. If you have my politics or similar politics, if you understand this moment appropriately, we can do better than Kamala. We can do better than Newsom. And we can get a transformative figure, and we should absolutely stop at nothing until we get there. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.